welcome to episode 36 of the Next Step podcast, where people like you are the star of this podcast, people taking their next steps in their journey with Jesus by loving Jesus and becoming like Jesus and sharing Jesus with others. So thank you so much. Today, our special guest is Andre. Andre the Giant is what I call him. Andre, what's your full name?
Andre Edward Jackson.
Andre Edward Jackson, man. Yeah. You just sound like somebody that's like a lawyer or whatever.
Well, Edward is my grandfather's name.
Okay.
He passed the year I was born.
Oh, really?
My mom gave him his name to me for my middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andre Edward Jackson. It's nice to meet you. So everybody call you Andre? Or
yeah.
Or call you
Dre.
Eddie or anything like
people call me Dre.
Dre. All right.
Andre. Yeah.
I'm going to start calling you not Dr. Dre. What can I call you besides that? Anyway.
Andre 2001.
I like that. Andre 2001. All right.
3001.
3001.
Yeah.
I like it. Cool. Dre 3001.
Yeah.
So tell us about you, Dre. You're from New Haven, Connecticut? Is that right?
New Haven, Connecticut.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Best pizza in the U.S.
The best pizza in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
And where's it from? Which one? Where's your favorite place up there?
Oh, Pizza House, just because. But it's Freddy's is well known up there. If you're from that area,
yeah,
everyone knows where Freddy's is.
So I was in New Haven a couple of years ago visiting Yale and the Divinity School, and I went to the place where they said it was the best pizza in New England. Oh. Was that Freddy's or was that?
Might have been Sally's. People say Sally's too.
Could be Sally's too. Okay. But just it is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's that cool little Italian small part of the town. It's definitely where all the Italian restaurants are.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So your favorite pizza from there is?
Pizza House. Just because that's just, we used to go there all the time. And then we take field trips with my elementary school.
Okay.
There.
Pizza for lunch at elementary school? I like that.
Yeah. And I went there in November when I had a trip in White Plains and I rented a car and just drove to New Haven.
Okay.
And then me and my uncle just went to Pizza House.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's still
How far is it from the airport in White Plains to there?
It was like an hour, hour, 30 minutes. Not too far. New Haven's more inland, but it's right on the border of Connecticut and New York.
Okay. That's awesome. So you grew up in that town. Which high school did you go to?
So I went to high school in Virginia.
Okay.
Me and my mom left Connecticut and moved to Virginia, and then I did like high school there.
Okay.
And then I went to a Christian school after that in South Carolina.
Okay.
And then moved to Charlotte.
Fantastic.
Over the time.
So which high school in Virginia?
Colonial Heights High School.
Colonial Heights, okay. I had an uncle that lived in Colonial Heights. Yeah. And then you said you went to Christian school in South Carolina.
Yeah. It was South Carolina School of Leadership.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's not there anymore. They shut the school down. But I went in 2013 and then I took a gap year, took a break and then went back for my second year.
Okay. Well, you definitely learn leadership skills.
Yeah.
Put those in practice because you're serving God's kingdom in all kinds of places. You serve by playing with us and you serve at Elevation Church and all that kind of stuff. So tell us about some of the things that you do. Obviously for us, people might recognize Andre. He plays keys on Sundays. Any Sundays?
Yeah. So I moved here to Charlotte in 2016. I already made the worship team at Elevation.
Okay.
I auditioned before I moved here.
Okay.
And that was the first place I got plugged into. It's really new to me. It was just like a lot of stuff that I wasn't used to. It's kind of like not hectic, but kind of intimidating.
Yeah. Intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the first team I served on. The first team I served on was data, which is like basically like computer work.
Right.
I only did that for like a short time before I actually got plugged into the worship team.
Yeah.
Then I made the worship team and started serving at different campuses. They used to have like what we call floaters. When you would fill in for somebody.
Right.
So that was basically my, I guess, place of serving.
Right.
And then I joined the choir and production. So I was doing all of this at the same time. I don't know why I chose to do it, but.
Well, you must be musically talented. That's right.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Did you start doing that when you were young in New Haven or did you do it in Virginia, doing music stuff?
In New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
My grandmother played piano.
Okay.
She used to play for a church too.
Okay.
Before I was even born. And she had a piano in her living room and a keyboard in her living room. So whenever I used to come over, I just used to play around on that. And I don't know, I guess I just picked it up because my mom, she doesn't play anything. My dad's not musically inclined either.
Okay.
So it was just all from her. And then I didn't start taking lessons and become stronger in music until I moved to Virginia.
Okay.
I don't know, it just like sort of just followed me. Yeah. As I got older. And I don't read music. I can't read music. I play by ear.
Okay.
Which I feel like that's a lot easier for me. To others, it's harder. It's just something that the gift God gave me.
What's the way you learn and the gift that God gave you?
Yeah.
It's definitely true.
Yeah.
What about family members? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. So I have 4 sisters total.
Okay.
2 on my mom's side and then 2 on my dad's.
Okay.
I had a brother. He passed in 2020.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was my father's son.
Okay.
But I'm the youngest of all of them.
Okay.
And I'm the only one from my mom and father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're one of a kind then.
Yeah.
In a family of many.
Yeah.
But you're the very youngest, which means that, man, you got to get away with a lot of stuff, didn't you, growing up?
Yeah. Yes and no. They were a lot older too. Like when I was born, my older sister was already in her 20s.
Okay.
So it's like she already had kids too. So I have nieces that were older than me, Yeah.
Wow.
So I was kind of a surprise baby. That's how
I love it. We're glad that you're surprising the world. So you're 21. Is that when you were born? 2001?
1992.
1992. Okay. You said DRE 2001 a while ago. 2001. That made me think about that. Anyway, we're grateful that you're part of our church community and still serving at Elevation and all that kind of stuff too. So tell us what you do for a living.
I'm a flight attendant.
All right.
Surprisingly.
All right. Does that surprise you?
Yeah.
Did it? So what are some of the things you did? So you take me out of the South Carolina Leadership School and all that kind of stuff. What are some things you did between then and the time you became a flight attendant?
So I was on staff at a church in South Carolina. I don't know if you heard of Manning. It's close to Charleston. Yeah.
Yes.
So me and my best friend at the time, I was living with him and his parents.
Okay.
Because they asked me to help them start a church in South Carolina. And this is when I was living in Virginia. So I was like, well, I'll give it a try. So I told him, yes, I'll do it while I'm doing school. So I was going into my second year at SCSL, the South Carolina school.
And where is SCL? Where was
Columbia, South Carolina. It was in Columbia. So I was driving back and forth between Columbia and Manning every weekend.
How far of a drive was that?
It's about an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
In my 96 Saturn, which
96 Saturn.
Yeah, it wasn't really reliable, but it made it.
All right. Got any Saturn fans out there? That's cool.
So I was doing that back and forth, and this was 2015.
Okay.
So I was on staff doing worship. That was basically our main thing. We already planted the church. We started. So that was our Sundays and our weekends, and then I would do school during the week, like Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then the church wasn't really growing. It's still there, but I think it was just God just told us like it was time for us to go. Like we did all we can do there.
Right.
So my friend and his family, they moved somewhere else, and then I was like, well, I feel like I'm called to actually go to Charlotte now, because I've been wanting to move to Charlotte, but I just never had the feeling to do it.
Yeah.
Just it was in my mind. I was like always in the back of my mind. So I finally made the move to Charlotte, and just got plugged in, starting from there. And then I don't know, it's a weird thing where musicians around the city just keeps in contact with each other. And, and I think that's how I got plugged into the point.
Okay.
Between another musician, PJ.
Yeah.
He plays at Elevation still. And I think he gave Jonathan my number.
Right.
And Jonathan reached out to me. This was 2018.
Right.
So it's almost been 6 years now.
So are you playing almost every Sunday somewhere unless you're working?
Yes.
Okay.
So the cool thing about the job is I can make my own schedule.
Oh, good.
So I usually take weekends off so I can still serve.
Okay.
So usually Sundays I don't fly at all.
Cool. Yeah. So tell us about what it's like. So you've been in worship ministry. You grew up in a musical family, certainly with your grandmother, as far as that's concerned. And
just her, yeah.
You've been up above the Mason-Dixon line, and you've been below the Mason-Dixon line. You've been up north, and you've been down south. And you've got lots of rich experiences. So tell us something about what it's like to now you become a flight attendant. And how old were you when you became a flight attendant?
2019.
2019?
About 26 years old.
Okay, so you're 26 years old.
I applied for the job by accident. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No, tell me about that. How'd that happen?
I was trying to apply for a job just at the airport.
Okay.
But I did it on Indeed.com. And
okay.
I don't know if I was just rushing. I just didn't read the description.
Yeah.
So I got called in for an interview, and I thought it was for the ramp agent.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do, ramp agent, which those are the people that work outside.
Kind of check your
put the bags
ticket
up
when you're
on
coming in?
No, those are
people
gate
put
agents.
bags
The
on.
ramps are the ones who put the bags on the plane. But yeah, when I saw the interview in my email said for flight attendant, I'm like, oh, this is the wrong job.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll give it a try. So
did you call them back and say, no, I didn't want to do this?
no,
or just
I went
okay.
through with it. I was like, I can either not get it or get it. And
Yeah.
I got approved and then set off the training for 4 weeks in Ohio.
So tell us something about what it was like in terms of the process in the interview. Did they give you personality tests? Was it just one interview? Was it multiple interviews? Was some in person? Some
multiple interviews.
Okay.
There's the one, and it was one over the phone.
Okay.
And then there was one in person at the training center. And then they give you like a background test and then a drug test, all that. And then we went to training in Ohio for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then you have to pass every test. It's super hard training. It's not easy.
I'm sure.
It's not. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but
So what are some of the things that made it real rigorous? Made it hard?
The test, basically memorizing everything.
Yeah.
How to do certain things on a plane, when to do this, mostly just for emergencies. That's what we're there for safety reasons, and how to evacuate a plane as fast as we can. Basically, that's why we're there. And then just the basic knowledge, like on a written test that we have to memorize.
Right. So it's very rigorous kind of stuff. So when you say hard, they're not making you do push-ups and sit-ups and run around, that kind of stuff.
No,
but it's all about how to handle, because you're really kind of in this floating tube and you're kind of like the social director and you're the police and you're the coordinator of relationships and that kind of stuff. It's amazing.
It's a lot of stuff that people don't know that I didn't know either until I actually started doing it, that goes behind the scenes of like that actual job. It's cool. Yeah, we get to see the world. We get to fly for free. The benefits are really good. The pay is good, but there's just like stuff that what you don't see, or like, and what actually flight attendants are trying to do now with the CEO currently is makes you wonder like, wow, I didn't know that they have to do all that.
Yeah.
They're currently going through this right now.
Yeah.
It's a good job, but it also takes a toll on your mentality.
Yeah.
Because you're away from home for a couple of days. And
if you're a homebody, you miss your steadiness of your home.
I've become a homebody since I started working here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I like, whenever I'm home and I'm not flying, I just like to stay home. Don't want to do anything.
Chill out. I bet sometimes you're like, where are we and where are we leaving from and where are we going? I've forgotten. Right.
Yeah. It happens.
Tell some people about what are some of those challenges in being a flight attendant? I know you're a good one and you just passed your test and you just re-up for another year. I think it's cool that they require you to test because you want to make sure you still have the competency to do it, right?
It's a good refresher because yesterday while we were in the class, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, this is something that I need to know.
Yep.
And if we don't have this yearly thing, then I forget about it. And then if something actually were to happen on a plane, I need to know what I'm supposed to do. So it's like stuff like that, how to keep, the stuff in your mind. Yeah. So you don't forget it.
To stay focused upon those things. So one of the hardest things is being away from home and the unsteadiness of it. What are some of the challenges that you'd want people to know out there? Particularly those of them that are flying that probably need to be nicer to people like you.
Well, that's another thing too, like people.
Yeah. You got people, you got problems, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad now. As long as you show like good customer service, like people see that and they're respectful. But it was a lot harder during the mask mandates and COVID.
Right.
That was like, I think, the hardest part of the whole career, and just with every airline.
Sure.
You saw it on the news.
Oh yeah.
People were just attacking flight attendants.
Right.
So I used to get like anxiety before coming to work.
I bet so.
Just because I didn't know what I was going to expect that day.
What's one of the hardest things you've had, like a hard interaction with a customer? Have anybody ever hit you or get up in your face?
No.
That's good.
I mean, I've had people accuse me of things I didn't do. Right. So, but other than that, no, I don't usually have any issues.
Good.
I'm the most like chill.
Yeah, you are. You're a steady, chill guy.
Yeah.
But I interrupted you. You're about to say you're the most steady, chill.
Oh, that was it. That was it. Just laid back. Like, I don't really do any drama or nothing like that. I just do my job.
Right. Yeah. Wow. It's interesting that several years ago on Thursdays, actually the year before COVID, in 2019, we were doing Thursday services, started in September, and we ended right in the middle of COVID because obviously the world kind of shut down. But we found that we started this service on Thursdays. And again, we're not doing it right now. We may do it again in the future, but we did do it back in 2019, 2020 to reach out to people that were doctors and nurses and police officers and firefighters and that kind of stuff. But what we really saw that there were a lot of flight attendants started coming. I mean,
really?
Literally,
I didn't know that.
4 or 5 or 6 flight attendants attended this service, and then they'd invite their friends because quite often they were gone on the weekends and they'd have a chance to worship with anybody else. So the service then was about the same kind of size as our service is on Sunday mornings in the new 8:30 service. There's somewhere between 60 and 100 people there. I think the most we have is 150 people at one time.
Yeah.
But
It's actually more than I thought.
yeah. And it turned out pretty good. It's something I want to do again, but we're not working on that now. We're trying to make sure to even out the population on Sunday morning as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
So you're a flight attendant. What's one of the, I know you, because of your confidentiality, you can't give away specifics, but what are some of the situations that give you anxiety? Are you just worried that somebody's going to get too drunk and start talking too loud, or babies cry too much and you can't stop it? What are some of the things that you find that are just challenges in what you do?
I guess that one, the drunk passengers.
Yeah. You've had to deal with that
Yeah.
more than once?
More than once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually try to, if I'm working the front of the plane, I usually try to get like a feel of who's coming on.
Right.
So I'm always like aware of like who's stepping on because, we're on the ground. So
if somebody walks by and goes, hi, and you can tell they've been to the bar before they got on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Or
so
they're
just
just
keep an
acting
eye on
crazy.
them. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, other than that, it's turbulence doesn't bother me.
okay.
Not really. I've had bad turbulence, but it annoys me more than it scares me.
Right.
Especially if I'm trying to do service. I'm trying to knock it out real quick and I can't because the plane is shaking. So,
Yeah.
like,
All of a sudden, whoa.
yeah. I was on the plane last week. I took my mom to Key West.
Okay.
Because she's been begging me to go on a trip. So we finally go to Key West, and somewhere as we're getting closer, the plane's like, it's really bad, like really turbulent.
Right.
And it doesn't bother me. I'm just looking on the screen playing a game. And she's like, she's not freaking out, but she's getting a little nervous. I'm telling her to relax. It's fine. Like,
That's
if
cool.
flight attendants are fine, then you should be.
Right.
Like,
So when were you just riding with her, or were you actually serving on that flight?
no, I was riding with her. I was off. We just went down there for the day and came right back.
Oh, cool.
And I just went for the day. We call them day trips.
Yeah. Key West is a pretty place.
Yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely. Did you have some key lime pie when you're down there?
No,
you're not.
it was we were only there for like 4 hours, so we didn't
Okay.
really get to like stay as long as we want because our flight was delayed going there.
Okay.
But she just wanted to go to the beach. Like she didn't really care for any of the food or anything.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So the planes that you fly on are typically the like regional jet airports from airport to airport and that kind of, so tell us some of the places where you fly. Key West is one of them, obviously. And White Plains is another one, I guess, because up in
well, we fly on the bigger planes too. Like we can fly on any plane. But the ones that I work on are the regional jets, the Canadair Regional.
Okay.
So they were made in Canada, but they fly up and down the East Coast with our airline.
Okay.
But they have them all over. I think out west there's another airline called SkyWest.
SkyWest.
Yeah, they fly the regional jets over there because you can't go that far from Charlotte to Los Angeles or something like that.
So where are some of the towns that you go?
Let's see. Go to Columbia,
South Carolina,
Atlanta, try to go down. Gainesville, Melbourne, White Plains, Hartford, DC. Trying to think further out west, we go to Nashville, Dallas now. Dallas, we just added that.
Okay. Tuscaloosa.
Kentucky. Alabama, I think you do Birmingham, Huntsville, and Montgomery.
Okay, Montgomery.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. I've been through Montgomery on a smaller plane before.
Yeah.
That's cool. Fascinating. So among the things that you have to learn are like how much the doors weigh, right? You told us that before we started recording today.
Yeah.
And so certain planes have doors that weigh in the 40-pound range and some weigh in the 30-pound range. So the fact that you go to that kind of detail is fascinating to me. What are some of the other details that people might not be aware of that flight attendants are aware of?
I I guess for infants, babies, they have to sit, if they're on a 700 or 700 aircraft, they can't sit on the left side of the plane. They have to be on the right because there's only 2 oxygen masks on the left side and 3 on the right.
Okay.
So if something were to happen, the oxygen mask comes down, we need 3 for father, mother, and a baby. So that's why they have to sit on the right side and not on the left. Yeah, stuff like that. Like,
how cool is that?
Yeah.
So have you ever had loss of pressure and oxygen where oxygen masks have dropped down?
No.
So that's encouraging those people out there. If you're anxious about flying, very rarely do the oxygen masks actually stop.
Yeah.
And drop.
It's rare. The last emergency I had was about a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. And so you're the guy that's got to keep cool because everybody else is freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad that you're flying the friendly skies with American Airlines. Is that correct?
It's called PSA Airlines, but
PSA,
it's a regional for American. American owns our company.
Okay.
So I just say American because everyone knows that. Okay.
Yeah. Good deal. So when you're off, we know you like to stay at home. We know you like to serve at church, hours and elevation and others, I guess as the case may be, when opportunities arise. What are some of the things you like to do when you're alone? What are some of your hobbies?
Love video games.
Okay. And your favorite ones?
Ironically, Flight Simulator. It's like I can't get away from planes.
Interesting. Okay.
I play basketball, football games. And then outside of home, I like to ride bikes. I like to get outside, like just walking or hiking or something like that.
Particularly on a day like today, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And I on my free time, I try to go back home every once in a while, like back to Connecticut to visit. I still have a few family members up there still.
Okay.
But yeah, just outgoing and hang out with. I have a group of friends that I hang out with that are from Elevation. They've been to the point a couple of times.
Cool.
So we usually spend a lot of time together.
Yeah. I've seen some pictures out there where you got the town behind you with your friends and you're hanging out and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So as you consider using your talents for God's glory, I mean, you know, how has our church helped you to take your next step in your journey with Christ?
It's just continually to teach me like why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's also a good reminder of like the gift that God's given me, to continue to use that gift.
Right.
I see it as a blessing too, to be able to serve like every weekend, just no matter what church I'm at, just be able to have the opportunity to do that still. Especially with this job, because it's full time. So it's a blessing to be able to just have the weekends open to where I can be at the point or at Elevation or New City Church, Central. And it's teach me how to grow spiritually, with my faith and the gift that God's given me.
Right.
I'm glad I'm still able to be at the point. Like I can't believe it's been almost 6 years now. And it went by so fast.
And we're grateful that you are too.
Yeah. At first I was just supposed to be filling in for Angie.
Yeah.
So she was out for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly how. I don't know if Jonathan asked me just to if I wanted to keep helping out.
Yeah.
And I think it helped Angie out too.
Well, you're good too, right? You're good at what you do. So
thank you.
We invite the good guys back.
Yeah.
So when you think about worship music and you know songs by ear, what are some of the things that worship does to draw you closer to God? What are some of the aspects of music or lyrics or being together and playing with a team? What are those things that make a difference in just playing and worshiping? What's the difference?
Just actually take time to focus on the lyrics and what the songs mean. Like, what am I playing? What am I singing to? Breaking that down. Because it's easy just to play a song and take your mind off the actual meaning of that worship song and just playing the music. Anyone can do that.
Right.
But when you actually stop and focus on what is this music meaning? Like, what is God trying to say to me through the music, you know? So I think lyrics are really important. Even like in a songwriting process, I've been a part of a writing process before, at my church in Virginia. I was a worship intern, and we were making an album, and it was my first time actually doing something like this. So to see how you break stuff up and like you write words on a board and say, what is the meaning of this? Like, how can we fit this into where it makes sense, and how it can draw people closer to God and like give them a better understanding of what they're singing. So it was pretty cool to be a part of something like that. So I always take worship lyrics as an important piece of music.
Because you're so important in setting the kind of the baseline for everything with what you do in keyboards. Do you find that you can even worship without lyrics, without what you're saying? Do you find the process of playing music and moving from key to key to be worshipful as well too?
Yeah. And something I don't really think about, it just happens.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it happens sometimes on Sundays. Like I don't practice whatever. If I'm playing behind somebody,
right,
it's not something I just practice. It just flows automatically. Yeah.
That's fascinating. So do you find sometimes that if you just sit down at a piano or a keyboard at home or at church and you start to play, does it tend to follow your moods and how you're feeling? Or do you try to use, if you're down, do you want to try to lift yourself up by playing more upbeat kind of stuff, or vice versa? If you're too hyper and you're still too awake, do you ever use keyboards to kind of calm you down so you can go to sleep when you get home, like from a late flight at night or something like that?
No, I don't know. Not really.
Okay.
I guess it just depends on, the mood, wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't really play when I'm at home usually, unless I'm preparing for a Sunday, which I probably should start practicing more.
Well, you do great enough that we want you to come back every week.
Thank you.
So it comes natural to you. That's really cool. I just wondered what that was like for a musician to play and to feel the music as you're going along, and if you tend to follow or chase your moods, or you try to pick it up and that kind of stuff.
I owe a lot to my grandmother. She passed away in 2013, but
sorry,
like it was just amazing, like how that just followed me.
Yeah,
like ever since leaving Connecticut, and just be able to keep up, because you hear about kids always taking piano lessons. Because I started when I was 6, but I always hear people say, "Well, my son or daughter, they played piano, but they stopped as they got older." Right. But for some reason, I just never stopped. It's just something I've always been in love with. I loved music. I love piano. And before piano, I was playing drums. I was playing drums at my church in Connecticut. And I don't know, it wasn't bad. It was just, I didn't really like it. Yeah. I always liked the piano. And when I left, my grandmother gave me that keyboard, and I still have it today, and it still works. Cool. It's not the one I use now on Sundays. It's at my house in my closet that I bring it out once in a while.
So do you have a preferred keyboard, a preferred kind of brand or whatever?
The red one that we use at church is the Nord. I'm hoping Jonathan can get the new one.
We have put that request out there, looking for the new keyboard.
Yeah, that'd be nice if we can get the stage 3.
I like it. The newest and latest, moved and improved. So I noticed, do you drive a Sentra car, Nissan Sentra?
Nissan.
So you came from a Saturn to a Sentra.
Yeah.
So you got to have an S and a T in whatever kind of car you drive, right?
Yeah.
But you definitely want the Nord keyboard that can go to level number 3.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what do you find about playing with other people as part of a band? Are there times where you tend to feel it and you're kind of in sync with people a lot more than others? And so talk about those times when you really feel like God is really present in that moment. To kind of describe that moment for us.
I always feel like communications plays a huge role in that. There have been times on Sundays where we don't rehearse what happens after worship,
right?
Or in the last song, and like there's just a flow moment. Yeah, and that's me and Robbie and Scott. We just follow each other. Yeah, as we're playing. I don't know where we're going. Yeah, it just always happens to sound good when.
Sure.
And I think me and Scott talked about this too. Like we sort of make eye contact with each other on stage, just like as a flow.
Yeah.
and see, okay, yeah, he's going to go here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
And then he's going to play that. So it's like, I already know where he's going to go. And he says the same thing about me.
Is there like invisible eye signals where, kind of like, I'm not getting it, or, oh yeah, that's good. Anything that
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we started using talkback mics too.
Okay.
I'm not used to doing that, but I'm glad we have it.
Right.
Because it makes
So you're
it a lot
hearing somebody
easier.
talking in your ear,
Yeah.
saying, give me a little more, this key or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's always helpful, because I didn't have that growing up or in Virginia at the church I was at either.
Right. So you had to learn to kind of read the room, read the stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So I would imagine there's also times where you're just not feeling it, where, whether there's somebody that's doing it for their own glory is on your team, and you kind of feel like it's kind of plastic and not really authentic because of what you've observed behind the scenes, and people come on stage as well too. So how do you handle it when somebody is, I would say, perceived as plastic? It's kind of just pretending to sing what they're singing, but not really meaning it. How do you handle that when you see and differently based on what you've seen as you've interacted with those people behind the scenes?
I just always have to remind myself not to judge them, even though I'm not a fan of it. I sometimes have to like step away from it, but just not to judge that person, and just remember, they could be in a worse place.
Yeah.
And God still loves them.
Yeah.
And just to pray for whoever that is, just pray for their heart.
You find yourself doing that sometimes? You're just kind of shooting a quick prayer over there, say, hey, Lord, help Brent, or hey, Lord, help Scott, or help me figure out what Jonathan's trying to do here, or whatever.
Maybe I have, or I don't know if I have done that before.
That's fine.
But I have been in that position before where I felt like, they're here just, just to play music and make money. And I don't know. I just, not a fan of that.
Right.
But I don't like hold it against that person, or I don't like have like this anger at them and stuff like that. It's just, I have to like sort of take a step back and even just look over my own heart, too. Like, why am I doing this? Or like, am I here just to play music? I have to remind myself that this is for God. This is the gift that He's given me. So I need to use it to glorify Him.
Right.
That's what it reminds me of that.
So that's powerful, because you're saying that when you find yourself tending to judge other people because of what you think about their motives or whatever, you immediately go back to your heart and say, well, how's my heart?
Right.
Instead of,
I don't know.
They need to straighten up and fly right, and then we're going to be good.
Right. I don't know what they're going through. Like, they could be going through something, outside of church, like during the week.
Right.
So it's not my job to point my finger and like say that person needs to get right. They shouldn't be on the team.
Right.
That's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow, that's probably owes to your steadiness and your kindness and your patience with others. Is that kind of a family trait? Does everybody in your family chill like you are?
That's a good question. Probably not.
No. So you got some sisters a little more dramatic. If you're his sister's watching today, he's not saying you're drama queens.
The second oldest, she's a teacher. She teaches for Charlotte Mecklenburg.
Okay.
So she's been doing it for a long time, but we're sort of like, she's really calm and cool. But but yeah, it's maybe it's a family trait. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I was wondering.
Yeah,
I'm wondering. So as you think about flying and stuff like that, when you're up in the skies and are there moments where you kind of feel closer to God when you fly? Or is it always kind of a job? Like, I wonder if the plane takes off and you see a sunrise while you're getting ready to serve somebody, or
that was the first thing I thought of. Because I usually work the mornings. I choose my schedule where I do the mornings. Just because I like getting done early. And
what does that mean when you choose the mornings? You going at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
Yeah, between 5 and 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's still like dark outside. Yeah. But it gets lighter. Yeah. So that first flight of the day and just taking off and then going above the clouds and you see that sunrise.
Right.
Like, I feel peace. It's like peaceful. It's kind of cheesy, but it's real peaceful.
I get it. I would expect you have lots of moments like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell some of the places you've been to that you really like.
I really like. I always go to Florida.
Like Florida?
I love Florida.
Yeah.
I've been going a lot the past 2 months.
Okay.
It's like the best time to go in the wintertime because it's like still warm there.
Right.
But I've been going to West Palm Beach a lot and Boca Raton.
Okay.
That's like my favorite place so far.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Some friends that are in the Boca area that actually do a weekday thing called Boca Lead, where they bring leaders and feed them lunch like on a Wednesday. Like we're recording this on a Wednesday. Yeah. And then they talk about stuff like that.
It's a nice area. It's a really nice town.
I'll bet so. So when you go to stay in another town, are you typically up in one day and you leave and you stay, or you're back by that nighttime, or are you gone overnight?
It depends. Sometimes we do up to 4-day trips.
Okay.
I usually do like 3 days, the max. Sometimes I do 4 days, and then sometimes I do turns where we go to a place and they come right back, and then we're done. But most of the time we stay overnight in hotels, and the company pays for the hotel and they provide it for us.
Good.
And then we get paid per diem, so that's basically like our food money.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you get to keep your per diem if you don't use it all?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I just wondered. I'm just a nosy customer. I wonder about all that.
We get asked questions a lot.
Yeah.
By passengers. Like it's the same questions over and over again. So
yeah. And you stay in the cheapest hotels?
No.
You stay in good hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're cheap ones, then we let the company know.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we could do reports and.
So you actually go to hotels that they book for you, I guess, as a result. Okay, that makes complete sense. Yeah. Wow. What's one of the nicest hotels you've ever stayed in?
There's one in St. Louis.
Okay.
That I really like. I don't remember the name of it, but it's really, really fancy. It's like it's old, but it's like revamped and redone to where it looks still old but still new. Right. At the same time, but it's really nice. It's one of the nicest. And then Fort Walton Beach, Florida. That's another good one because it's right on the beach. Right. So I like those.
Is Fort Walton on the East Coast near?
It's
Titusville?
On the Panhandle.
On the Panhandle. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fort Walton's on the Panhandle. Cool. Well, wow, you've met all kinds of people, I'm sure, from all around the world too, right? So who are I'm giving you a chance to classify people, so this might be right. Who are the nicest customers? They tend to be from a certain nation, or they tend to be from a certain continent, or I know you meet nice people of all people, nations, but is just everybody from this place really nice?
Usually everyone's nice, but it's usually the mean ones that stick out the most, or the needy ones. Yeah. White Plains passengers are really needy. Okay. So I'm sorry if they're watching it.
That's okay. So White Plains, Connecticut?
No, New York.
White Plains, New York.
Might as well be. It's right on the border.
It's right next door.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Canada.
Canada?
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're needy, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Require a lot of pampering.
Yeah. So it's like certain places that we go to, we already know how the passengers are going to be. Yeah. Like Atlanta's one of them. It's like a red flag. And then a lot of flight attendants don't like Miami. Right. Miami, for some reason, is like the party planes.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So just for the record out there, everybody that uses American Airlines and deals with Andre, he's going to love you all. Although sometimes y'all are more challenging than others, depending on where you're from.
Most of the time, people are really cool.
Yeah. The fact that you say that most people are really nice, really interesting. Several years ago, I was on a flight to Waco, Texas, and I flew to Dallas, and then I flew from Dallas to Waco on a little small plane, regional plane. And I asked the guy, and I could tell that he'd been a flight attendant for a long time. And I said, so tell me who the nicest people are. And he said, Australians. He said, Australians are just always the nicest people. I said, so who's the rudest people? He said, Americans. And he was not British. He was American himself. But I just thought that was interesting. He was just very raw and honest about that. Do you have any places you'd like to go that you've not been to yet?
Well, next week I go to Brazil for the first time. I'm excited, but I'm really nervous. Yeah. I've never been that far before. Okay. And I've never been on a flight that long. I think it's about a 9-hour flight just from Miami to Sao Paulo. Right.
It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours to Miami, and then another.
Yeah. Okay. And from Miami to Sao Paulo, then we have to get on a Brazilian airline and go from Sao Paulo to Navegantes. Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Okay. So yeah.
So will you work for that Brazilian airline as a
no, it's my vacation.
Oh, vacation
Yeah,
time.
it's a leisure trip. I'm going with a Brazilian couple from Elevation, and then me and my best friend are going with them. So this is the only time we get to go. So
yeah,
I was like, why not?
It's a good time to go down there. I mean, of course, I guess it's probably
summertime there.
It's summertime. It's going to be warm, right?
Yeah.
You get to see the big Jesus up on the hill, Rio de Janeiro, right?
I don't think we're going to Rio.
You're not going to Rio?
I wish, though.
Yeah. I've always wondered what that looks like, being up close and personal with that.
There's no elevator. They say it's all stairs.
All stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. So come ready to climb if you're going to go see Jesus in Mexico, or Rio, rather. Wild. So let's move to the part of the time we have together, just kind of talk about some preferences. Let's see how to put this. North or south in America?
I'd say south.
Okay.
It's more stuff to do.
More stuff to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not as cold all the time. Well,
the cold doesn't bother me. Okay. It's just, I need, there's nothing to do in Connecticut anymore.
Okay.
I went back. I'm just I'm bored.
Yeah. Okay. So what's something you did when you were growing up that was fun when you were little?
Oh my gosh.
Sledding? Like that? Snow?
Not really.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to do that, but every birthday we would always go to Chuck E. Cheese or the arcade, some arcade. Chuck E. Cheese was huge for me. I still have VHS tapes of my birthday parties there, and they still work.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
so there's a pizza theme in your life too, by the way. You got that. Pizza House, Chuck E. Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Do you always, when you go to a new city, try to find the best pizza somewhere?
Sometimes, yeah. Or if I can just eat whenever I can.
Okay.
Because it's
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
So, but I like South because I don't know, I like Charlotte's sort of it doesn't feel like South, but
yeah,
it is. But it's always that part of up north that's still here.
Yeah.
That I appreciate.
There's a lot
so
of people
much.
come from up north through the Charlotte. And it's fast moving, it's fast paced.
Yeah.
Particularly from the airport, right?
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay, so chicken or fish?
Chicken.
All right. Fish or beef?
Beef.
All right. Okay. French fries or hush puppies?
French fries.
Onion rings or homemade chips?
I would say homemade chips.
Okay, me too. I just like those. We just had some others from lunch from Chilling and Grilling. They were really, really good. Okay. Good stuff. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Okay. Spring or fall?
Spring. Okay. Well, no, I'll do fall.
Okay.
Fall.
Best of all the four.
What was it?
Best of all four.
Fall.
Fall. You like fall?
Yeah. My birthday's in October.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's why, but
that's probably why.
It's not too cold in the fall.
So what's your birthday?
October 10th.
All right. So if you're out there and you're watching this later on, it happens to be near October, just wish Andre a happy birthday. That's cool. Yeah. So are you big into Halloween and stuff like that? Costumes and...
I like costumes. I mean, I don't really celebrate Halloween, but we had a costume party.
Yeah.
This past October, and I think you saw the picture. I was
I did.
In an 80s jumpsuit.
80s theme.
Yeah.
Stuff. That's awesome. Speaking of jumpsuit, have you ever skydived?
No. I'm afraid of heights.
Okay, that's really weird, isn't it? Because you fly all the time.
But being on a plane doesn't bother me. I love being on an airplane, but I can't do roller coasters, the rides at Carowinds. I can't.
Okay. None of that stuff. So what do you do when you go to Carowinds or somewhere like that?
Choose the rides on the ground.
Okay. The rides that keep you on the ground.
Yeah.
That's cool. What do you think is you would say is the most adventurous thing you've ever done? Where you really risked it?
Ooh. Interesting. Probably would be it's probably not that big of a thing, but just traveling by myself, going places far away. I think when I first got the job, my first birthday trip was to New York City by myself.
Okay.
I've never been to New York by myself before.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't get lost. I found my way around and then just came right back home.
That's cool. Yeah. Did you fly into LaGuardia or JFK?
LaGuardia.
Okay.
First time.
And so what'd you do in New York all by yourself?
Walked around. I love to walk. Okay. I can walk for hours.
Yeah.
That's why I like sometimes traveling alone.
Yeah.
So I don't have to make people walk so long distance with me. Right. I keep going.
That's cool. Yeah. I like it.
So I just walked around, got to see some of the stuff. I mean, I've been before because we were New Haven's an hour from New York City. So we used to take the trains on the weekends and go to like Times Square and like, hang out with my family. But it's been a while since before the job that I've been like actually in the city.
Right.
So just going back, it was like, wow, this is pretty cool to see again.
So what's your favorite place in New York?
We probably Times Square.
Times Square.
I love Times Square.
Yeah. A lot of action there. So America or Europe?
Europe.
Okay. Which part?
England.
England. Okay.
Huge fan of England.
Huge fan of England. Okay. Have you gone over there some?
Not yet, but that's like one of the goals I want to.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I was going to say I would like to go there instead of Brazil, but I need to go to Brazil just because it's the only time I'm able to go.
And you're going with friends too, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have a good time. You're deciding that together.
Yeah.
So everybody out there needs to be on notice that if you're on Andre's list, he wants to go to England next time anyway. So you know, that's cool. Yeah. Is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to that's out there watching today? Somebody that's your friends or family members?
I'll give a shout out to the Muellers. Those the people I'm going to Brazil with.
Cool.
Ari and Tatiana Mueller.
Fantastic.
Sure they're going to watch later.
And all your sisters and all that kind of stuff, and your mom, and wow.
Yeah.
So cookies or cake?
Cake.
Pie or ice cream?
Ice cream.
What kind?
Chocolate chip cookie though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where it's from.
It used to be cookies and cream when I was little. That was like the only one I would eat. I would not eat vanilla or chocolate. I would just cookies and cream. But for some reason, I like chocolate chip cookie dough now.
Do you have a favorite place where you like to go get it? Or do you have a kind you buy at the store?
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's? Yeah, absolutely.
It's expensive, but it's good.
Sure, absolutely. Aren't they from like Connecticut or Vermont or something like that? Vermont.
Yeah, there's a store, Ben and Jerry's store, not too far. It's in South Park area.
Okay. Cool. Have you ever been to like in Vermont on a plane? Okay.
Burlington. I was in Burlington in December.
And Burlington's like a big ski area, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice place that's another good place that we stay at. We stay at a resort there.
Okay.
It's I can't remember the name of it, but it's a huge resort. They have like a lot of visitors come through there, but for some reason they have flight crew stay there.
Right. Is it Killington?
No, Essex.
Essex. Okay.
Essex is outside of Burlington, but
I
don't remember the exact name of the resort, but it's probably one of our favorite hotels there.
Okay. Football or basketball?
Basketball.
Basketball or baseball?
Basketball.
All right. Who's your favorite team?
Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. Okay. Hey, how about college? UConn?
UConn.
Okay. Yeah. You got it. I figured
I saw the Celtics play here when they played the Hornets.
Yeah.
And it's probably the most fun game I've ever been to in my life. Like they lost against the Hornets surprisingly in overtime. Okay. It was really exciting. But awesome. I called my dad right after because he's a Celtics fan too.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, I don't know whether to be mad or happy that they lost.
Yeah. Wow. So night or day?
Day.
Okay. So you're early riser. You pick early flights because you like to get up early anyway.
I do. I'm not a morning person, but I like getting done early. I don't like getting done late at night.
Okay. Yeah. So on a good day, when you can pick your schedule, when do you leave and when do you get back? If you're just like in a day trip out and back.
Usually if I'm doing an out and back, I try to choose the earliest flight.
Okay.
So I get back early. I think the quickest one that we do is Greensboro.
Okay.
So it's a 7:00 flight to Greensboro.
Yep.
And comes right back and gets back at 10:00 in the morning. Okay. So you basically have the rest of the day to yourself.
Oh, good.
And you still went to work.
I like it. Good deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the job came right at the right time because I was living in Ballantyne and me and my roommates were getting ready to move out.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going. Just I know I was going to Ohio to train for this job.
Right.
And it was a total God thing. Like he worked it out like step by step. Because after I got back from training, I found 2 other roommates and we found this house.
Awesome.
So it was pretty cool how that worked out.
Still in Ballantyne?
Not right directly in Ballantyne. It's sort of near Quail Hollow Club. Okay. Carmel Road.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've had a rich history of life in church and your grandmother played in church and you played a lot during that time.
I grew up in church. It's like all I know.
Yeah.
basically.
So it's really a habit for you.
Mm.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse or a favorite passage, favorite story from Scripture, or a favorite section from Scripture?
I would just say my favorite Bible verse is Ephesians 3:20.
Okay.
That's like my favorite.
Which
one.
is?
Now to him who's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I had a bracelet with that verse on it, but it broke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You wore it for so long, it kind of wore out?
Yeah.
Now to him who's able to do exceedingly above all we could ask or imagine, according to the power of God within us, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. That's awesome. We're just grateful that God has used his power in you, and you shared that with us. And it's been great to have you on the team with us today. So thanks so much for investing in us and accepting our invitation for you to come.
Thanks for having me. It's my first podcast. Never done this before. It's pretty
awesome.
Cool.
All right. Andre the Giant Goes podcast, or Dr. Dre. We're going to call him like Dr. Dre. I got to think of something that goes along with Dre. You said Dre 3001?
Since there's Andre 3000, I go by Andre 3001.
Okay. So we're going to call him Dre 3001.
Just don't call me Andrew.
Just don't call him Andrew. Yeah.
I respond to that too because I've been called that so many times.
Andre.
No, Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Right.
If someone says Andrew, I think they're calling me.
Yeah. You're going like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's Andre at least, or Dre 3001. But anyway, it's been great to have you with us. And
thanks for having me.
So when you guys see Dre on the stage and that kind of stuff, it's going to be a great day because you can know something about him. And if you like this podcast, please make sure to like it and share it with other people that you know. And it's, again, been a great honor to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
See you Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. On the keys.
Yeah.
Thanks again for tuning in. Next time we'll be tuning into episode number 37, where you, as people that sit in the seats and you are taking your next step in your journey with Jesus, we're just grateful to have people like you along with us for the journey. Thanks a lot. Have a great week.